So, the Compromis de Vente is signed. The hard part is over, right? Except now, the notaire's gone quiet, the buyer's agent has moved on, and you're sitting there waiting for news, wondering when the funds will actually reach your account back home. That silence between signing and completion is where a lot of sellers start to panic. And understandably so, because in France, the final step, getting your sale proceeds safely out of the country, is often the part no one really prepares you for. Maybe it's your own property, or maybe you're helping an elderly parent sell theirs, closing the chapter on years of family holidays, renovations, and memories. Either way, you just want one simple thing: to know that ultimately the money will land intact and on time. But the truth is, between the notaire, tracfin, fiscal representatives, and foreign banks, there are a few invisible checkpoints that can hold things up for weeks or even months if you're not ready. So let's start with the notaire. Just as a reminder, they're not just a lawyer. They're also a state officer responsible for reporting all major transactions to Tracfin, France's anti-money laundering body. Once the acte de vente is signed, your funds don't immediately appear in your account. They first move into the notaire's escrow account, usually held with la caisse de dépôt. And here's where people often assume the notaire will just send the money to my UK or US account or wherever you are in the world. But unfortunately, that isn't necessarily the case. If the account you've provided isn't SEPA or SWIFT compliant or isn't in your name, that payment can be blocked or held back. And when that happens, you're suddenly stuck. Emails going unanswered, the money frozen in the French banking system, and a lot of stress that could have been avoided. Now, to be clear, Tracfin isn't there to make your life difficult, as much as it may seem. It's the anti-money laundering body that all notaires report into. Their job is to make sure the funds being released truly belong to the seller and that the payment route is legitimate. The most common mistake: sellers giving details for a family member's account or a foreign broker that isn't in their own name. From Tracfin's point of view, that's a red flag, and the notaires simply won't be able to release it. The funds can be held until the situation is clarified, often for weeks. So the golden rule would be always use an account in your name and make sure it's fully verifiable by the notaire in advance. At Ibanista, we help clients do exactly that, providing individual euro accounts that satisfy Tracfin's due diligence, while still allowing you to control your exchange rate and destination currency. That's the difference between waiting months and steeping wealth, in our opinion. Now, the next piece of the puzzle is the fiscal representative. If you're selling as a non-resident, French law requires you to appoint one, sadly. They come at an extra cost, and their role is to calculate and secure any potential capital gains tax before the notaire releases the balance. Now, in principle, that all sounds pretty simple, but it can cause real delays. I've got a story for you. Last year, one of our clients had her funds held by a fiscal rep for 6 weeks in total. Why? Because she hadn't yet received her UK tax residency certificate from HMRC. Frustratingly, it was during the last UK election, and HMRC was backlogged. 5 weeks later, she finally got the document, and the funds were cleared. The exchange rate had only moved about 1.5% against her in that time, but it could have easily been much, much worse. That's why we encourage sellers to send off for the residency certificates as soon as the Compromis de Vente is signed. Ultimately, by the time completion comes around, everything's ready. The fiscal rep's got the details they need, Tracfin have given their authorization, and the notaire is aligned with both. Now, once the notaire releases the funds, they usually send them to your nominated account. So let's say you send it to your own French Crédit Agricole account or back to the UK, they'll be using la caisse de dépôt for that. Now, here's a detail most people don't know. If your contact details have changed since the sale and you've already left France, those banks can insist you come back into your old branch in person to update your information before releasing the payment. Obviously, that isn't necessarily an ideal situation if you've just moved back to London or across the Atlantic. So make sure you double check that your phone number and email on file are current and that you can still receive the verification codes before leaving France, or indeed look for a way of bypassing the French bank altogether. Now, for many sellers, this isn't just a transaction. It's the end of a chapter, the closing of a French dream. And while that carries emotion, it also deserves dignity. Making sure your sale ends cleanly, less stress, no panic, no where is the money moments, is the best way to honour all the years and memories that came before it. So when you're picking a payment solution for this, try and use something that goes a bit further than just a currency service. Find a bridge between your notaire, your fiscal rep, and your new life after France. If you're mid-sale and want to make sure your funds move smoothly, I've put together a safe repatriation checklist. The key steps we use with our own clients to make sure everything goes right from the first email to the final transaction. You'll find the link just below in this video. Because after all, the paperwork, all the waiting, and all the emotions that come with leaving France, the very least you deserve is a calm and controlled. Thanks for watching, guys.